Okay, so I just wanted to do, or we wanted to do like a Q&A, and hopefully more people get on. Well, Vicky disappeared. A Q&A today since we had the call yesterday, and then I wanted to go over PV because I know today and has been kind of crazy for people dropping because their PV isn't where it's supposed to be at a certain rank. So I kind of wanted to go over that so you guys know what to expect at an Emerald level, and then once you get to Diamond, what your PV needs to be. So, and Vicky will chime in whenever she can. She's done.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can, yeah.
Okay, I'm getting my hair blow dried right now, so I'm going to put it on you until she's done blow drying.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go then.
Okay.
So I'll talk about PV first, and then we can do like the Q&A after. Just kind of like whatever questions you guys have, or even like what your biggest takeaways were from yesterday's call, or if you have any questions from yesterday's call. I know some of us leaders, and Vicky, we never really talked about sharing this, but I know some of us leaders are making an investment for a new training that's starting in January for any Diamond and above coaches. So I know like for my team, I'm putting it out there that they have to be Diamond by the end of the year. And so like the end of December. And then Success Club 5, they have to earn for December. So then we'll start the training in January. And I believe it's a whole, everybody, like any Diamond and above coaches in all of Misfit can do it, I think. And we're only taking 50, I believe. I think. So we'll give you obviously more details on that when we get closer to that. But I wanted to let you guys know, since you're all pushing for Diamond, that's a good thing for training to look forward to after you get to Diamond. PV. Okay, do you guys have questions on PV at all? Because I know it gets tricky, especially when you're like holding rank. And I know at an Emerald level, it's 50 PV. And if you're getting your Shakeology every single month, you should be golden for that. Once you get to Diamond, it's 100 PV. So that's where it kind of gets like, people don't really, I don't think about it. So if you don't have, yep. What?
Sorry. Coach is 50 PV, and then Emerald is 90 PV.
Is it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
No.
I always thought it was just 50 and 90 if they...
Emerald. I just looked this up. So 50, 90, and then,
100 for Diamond.
Okay, so either way.
I add the creatine onto mine because I need performance, and that gets you 105. I don't know if anyone.
Right, yeah. So I guess Emerald, either way, if you have your Shakeology come in, that's good. But the Diamond is where people, I think, get tricky, because I know I had a Diamond coach drop today because of her PV wasn't where it needed to be. So I know for me, like if you have new customers coming in and purchasing things every single month consistently, you should be good. But if you don't and you're like kind of still sporadic with customers coming in, I would definitely do what Heather did and get something smaller on there to make sure your PV is over 100. And it's customer PV and personal PV, right, Vicky? Yeah. Yep. So
yeah.
Sorry, I know. Muted. So that will be something that you guys want to definitely keep in check, because you hate to drop rank for something that's silly like that. Any questions? Do you have anything else to say with that, Vicky? Even though you're getting your hair blow dried? No? Or you can say it at the end.
I just had a coach that lost her Emerald rank, which made me obviously drop my Diamond rank because of just that. She was like, well, I don't want to be on Shakeology, so I'll suspend that. And then because she's managing, her boyfriends or whatever. So it was like, just because she didn't do it in time made her drop, so it's like, pass it on to your coaches.
Right, for sure.
I think I did it. I may not have done a good enough job on that one.
Right.
So.
Well, and I always thought, and that's something good to know, because honestly, I thought it was 50 PV for just Emeralds too. So that's good to know.
Oh,
that 90.
It's 90.
So,
I thought it was 50 as well, and then 90 for Ruby, then 100 for Diamond.
I think
it wasn't
maybe
so long ago that I saw a video
Club.
about it.
It's for Success Club.
Yes, you need 90 for Success Club in order to get your customers.
As an Emerald.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's where the difference is.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like as an Emerald coach, you
would want Success Club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's why I always say that, because it's like if you are hitting Emerald, there's no reason for you.
Right. Well, Success Club is the goal.
Non-negotiable.
Right.
And don't you have to be a coach? Don't you have to be active with Shakeology?
No, you can be active with other things.
Oh.
But to get the customers, you need to be active on Shakeology HD, like the free leads and stuff.
Okay.
So that's where, when we say you might as well just be on Shakeology, that's kind of why.
Okay.
So you get those. And I don't know if the performance, and anyone can answer this, but I don't know if because the performance line you can get on HD now for Success Club points, and I don't know if that's the same thing. Like,
so the Recover and the Energize together are the same as one bag of Shakeology.
Okay, so then does that count for like your HD order for free lead? Okay.
Yeah. So if you put that on HD, then you do that. And the same with like, because then I added on the creatine obviously to my. So yeah, those are the only ones, and I think because that's the only stack. Well, that's the smallest stack.
Right.
I'm sure the other ones would count too, like that.
Right. Anything above it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anything else besides those two things. So if anyone have any questions or any like huge aha moments they had yesterday from our call, I know I had like 3 pages of notes and I even got on late.
I did too. I know. I take his Art of Leadership and I'm like 5 or 6 pages. I'm just writing the whole time he's talking.
I know. He was awesome. He had so much stuff.
So I had listened to him speak on our Zoom before. And he had mentioned, he's talking about being a leader. So let me get to my notes. Where did it go? But he said that if you don't know your personally sponsored coach's goals, then you're manipulating, not motivating and mentoring. And I mean, I figured this whole time I've basically known their goals, but I haven't outright been like, let's dig deep and really talk about your goals. So yesterday's Zoom really helped me focus and find those, really make sure that I know what their goals are to help them. That was huge for me. And the no excuses thing, of course. I love sharing that.
And I think like even as leaders, like really digging into, because I know like I even went through all my coaches I haven't talked to in a while and asked them like what they want, like what they really want out of life and what their ideal life is. And it's funny because the ones who aren't necessarily all in yet, they just say super like superficial goal, like they're not super deep. They're just like, oh, I just want healthy kids, or I just want like, and these are like, that's still obviously a good goal, but that's not like a deep down.
Jeez, Lauren.
No, I'm not saying that's not a bad, you guys know what I mean. It's still a good goal, but it's
that's not a good enough goal.
Like shooting myself in the foot, I'm sure. God, now I'm just like totally thrown off.
Sorry.
Just digging deeper to that.
Yeah, digging deeper. Yeah. So you can like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think, I actually had a girl that's tried something like this a few times, trying to run her own business. And I asked her if she wanted to try Beachbody, and she said, you know what? I just don't have a big enough why. I'm really happy in life. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for their big why they even got into this in the first place. And I know that was something that I found a lot out yesterday about my coaches, is that they had much bigger whys than to make enough money to stay home. I mean, in fact, there was a coach, she's not even on, but there was a coach I was talking to yesterday who said her big why, and Vicki may know this, her big why is to help her dad retire because he's in his 70s and she wants him home.
Oh, the farm basket.
So our whys get bigger as we really dig deep, and that's what we're looking for. What you're saying, right, Lauren?
Right, exactly. And I think our whys kind of change along with our business. I know like when I started, my big why was to be able to be home working and raise kids when I have kids. Now, when I started, I didn't think I would be doing that before I had kids. But like now that I'm home, my why is to be able to just bring freedom, like financial freedom, just choice of freedom, time freedom, anything like that to our family. So like Nick can choose if he wants to work or not, or be home, or, you know, like, so our whys do like evolve too as we hit them, kind of like our goals. So, but if we don't know what those are for our coaches, it's hard. Like you said, we're manipulating them or convincing them instead of motivating them.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing, because I wouldn't want my upline coach to be doing that. I'd want her to understand why I'm in this so that she could do whatever she could to help me get there.
Right.
So, yeah, it's really important.
Right, for sure. Any other thoughts or questions or struggles?
Just to piggyback off of what Rebecca was saying is, I think our why gets bigger as we get more involved, which is what I feel bad for people who aren't willing to, you know, get involved or try it, because the whole process makes you kind of realize there's a lot more to it.
Right. Yeah, they almost have to be all in before they realize that it's way bigger than just,
I want to lose weight, or yeah.
right.
Well, you know, besides just talking about, because I'm using Allison's phone because apparently my service is horrible here.
Oh.
But besides going over your why, you can do your negative why too. Like, what kind of things, like if you stayed stationary, what kind of things could affect you negatively? You know, not instead of like, I want financial freedom and I want time freedom and I want this, but like, what are the things, like the consequences if you don't change your life? Like you know, I know Cindy has been talking like that or about that a lot with her coaches, and it's changed dramatically when they start talking about, like, you know, like Cindy brought home her husband. He was a chemical dependent counselor, and he had the world's stressful, had no family time, and he was stressed with his family and stuff. And they thought about, like, what if he had to go back to that, and would that affect their family?
Popular activity screen.
Right. Right. That's a good way of
I hope they heard me.
If people don't know what their big why is, like doing it the opposite way, like what would be the negative of just staying exactly where you are? That's a good way of looking at it for people who don't know, like, the bigger picture of it, I guess.
Well, not everybody can look forward too. Like, I had a coach quit because her why was exactly what yours was, Lauren. She wanted to stay home with her kids. But I don't think it was big enough for her because she has no near future of children in her life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that. I don't think that was the right why for her.
Right.
So I'm going to go back and rework with her again later. But,
Right. Well,
but I mean, because that's kind of my why is I force myself to do this stuff even if I don't want to, because I was in so much pain before. I don't want to go back to that.
Right. Right. And I think too, as like, not even just as leaders, but as coaches, we have to know that, like, we have to have that vision of the future in front of us at all times, not just like today, you know, and knowing that, like, what we're doing today is moving us closer to what we want in life instead of like dwelling on what we're doing today, if that makes sense. Because sometimes we get in, you know, like what we do every day is sometimes can get like really redundant. You know, it's the same thing every single day. And I think, like, sometimes you can get into that habit of just being like, oh, I don't want to do this again. But when we remember, like, where we're going or where we want to go or where we don't want to go, it helps us keep going. Any other questions or thoughts or comments or concerns, struggles, or anything?
I had a coach who is probably inactive this week, and I went to her and I said, hey, you're going to be inactive. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I just can't afford it. I really believe in the product, but I just can't afford to get it. And I was like, well, you just need 50 PV. Can you sell 50 PV? Can you get 50 PV worth of product? And she said, absolutely, I cannot. I believe in all of this, but I just can't do it. And I don't know if coaching is really for me. So I asked her those questions that Josh had, you know, said maybe you should ask your coaches to find out their whys. And she wrote me a freaking novel. it was amazing. She has huge eyes.
I don't
But
think you.
my
I think
problem
you have to
is
just.
scheduling.
I don't think you can attach a folder. I think you have to choose all of them and drag them over.
I'm struggling trying to help her realize that being an introvert can still be successful in this. So
You
does
should talk
anybody
to
have any
Ann.
advice on that? Who?
Ann Livingston.
Ann Livingston. I'm writing that
Right? Is
down.
that what she's under now?
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Or Ann Peters.
Well,
I think it's
I
Ann
think
Livingston.
Livingston on, because that's her middle name.
Yeah.
But I think too, like, we can't always pull people along. You know, like that's something you need to learn too early as a leader. Because I know, like, that's probably something that kept me at Diamond for a really long time, is I kept trying to pull the coaches I had instead of like letting them be, and obviously keep checking in with them, but not like trying to pull them to do the work, but find new people who are ready to jump in and go. Because we can't always depend, like you could, like I can say that the people who got me to, the coaches who got me to Diamond, I would say maybe 3 of them are still with me.
Okay.
Those people that got me to Diamond did not get me to 5-star, you know, like, so you kind of like, you evolve, like the coaches you bring on for Diamond are going to be like different than the coaches you start bringing on when you start hitting star diamonds, because you just kind of start evolving and you start attracting new people, and you maybe know who you want to attract versus like when you're brand new too, you know?
Right.
And
It's frustrating though when you know it's somebody that
could
could be
awesome.
so good at it and has everything it takes, but they just don't get it yet. So there's only so much you can do, is what I've learned. And I'm doing exactly what you're saying, Lauren, right now, is finding people that I know want to do it, and kind of checking in and letting them come to me when they are the other people, you know, because you're going to drive yourself crazy, I feel like.
Well,
I don't know. Did Josh go over the 80-20 yesterday in the call, or is that something I heard before? So he was talking about like how 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your people. And so like you focus and you find those 20% and you run with them as much as they want to run. So like that's kind of hard for me. And like, I don't know, becoming Diamond and like, I guess finding my team, but then falling, like I didn't realize it was so easy to like your rank drop all the time and then go back up. So it's like finding those people. Like I was investing a lot of time, or sometimes more time, in the people that like I felt like needed, you know, hand holding or more help, but it was like they just didn't want it. And I could have invested that time in the other people. And like he said, if you only have one person that wants to, like, invest all, you give everything you have to that one person, because when you get to be this huge team, you can't give everything to that one. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you only have one, you have one, and give it your all to that one, and it will multiply.
right. And that's, I was reading, I can't remember what book it was. I don't remember, but in it, he talked about, he called them recruiters, which is, it's a network marketing book, but he says recruiters instead of like coaches, which we call them. And he said, like, you'd rather have a team of like 5 strong leading coaches that are like working than a team of 100 if coaches, you know, like you'd rather have 5 all in, I'm going to do whatever it takes coaches than 100 we'll see if this works, or I don't know if this is going to work, or blah, 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 excuse coaches, you know? And that's kind of the same thing. Like you want to find those people, those 80 or that 20% who want to go and work with those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though. Like I know it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to let the 80% go when you believe in them so much. And I think that's what I have found the longer I'm in it. Sometimes we believe in them so much more than they believe that they can do it. And that's when it gets hard, and it gets like frustrating to see them give up on themselves and their goals, but we can't make them do it. You know, they have to want to dig into that personal development to really find that belief in themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, then I'm not going to your house to read you personal development every single day. You know, like people have to want to do that.
You know what, Lauren, would be a really good idea for all of us that have like those halfway inners or those inactive coaches? We should do like a personal development group, like nothing Beachbody related, but something where it's all about personal development and have all those people in it. And like we could do like, it's kind of like a book club, like an everyday check-in, but just personal development based.
I think you should do that anyway, and I'll join.
I know, me too.
I love personal development. I'm a little obsessed.
I know, me too. Like my
I need
Amazon,
somebody
like
to make me do it.
That's all I do.
Well, now we need to get the people who don't like to do it, that are inactive, to do it.
But if
they're
we're all
about
posting in there,
podcasts.
then they're
Maybe
gonna
they just
join,
don't want to read. I found like there was like 3 or 4 girls on my team who just didn't want to read, but when I introduced them to podcasts, like they're all over it. They'll listen to podcasts all day. Well, and then like my one coach, all she does is watch videos, like watch like the training videos or things like that. So then I, got her on like, the summit recap videos or things like that. So maybe it's finding what works. Your coaches for the ones that aren't wanting PD,
Right.
or aren't getting it in, not wanting it.
And I know for me, like, for the coaches who say they don't have time for personal development or time to listen to stuff, like, I have been listening to podcasts while I work out. Like, you don't necessarily always need to listen to the trainers talk if you know what you're doing. So, like, I'll have a podcast playing while I'm working out. So that's something for those people who give you that excuse to, well, I don't have time, I have kids, I have work all day. Like, you're going to have people who give you those excuses, and doing it while you work out is almost like.
Or while you're getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Yeah.
Takes like a half an hour. That's one good podcast.
I do it during dishes, folding laundry, in the car.
Lauren, I tried to do it when I was working out, but then my playlist won. I just, for some reason, have to have the loud, music going.
And it took me a long time.
That work out too, the videos.
It took me a long time getting used to doing it during my workouts. But I think if I was working out without a DVD, like if I was just lifting by myself, I would need music.
Okay.
But like if I'm following a DVD, I don't know. It just took me a while too. So
I can't multitask in that way.
I didn't think I could either. But it's an easy way to get it in.
I just have always when I'm getting ready. So I got pen and paper, so I just jot down really quick things if it's something I need to remember later.
Right. What else?
I put it in my notes section of my phone. I just flip to that section.
There you go.
I listen in the bathtub too, actually. That's my favorite thing at night is bathtub podcasting.
That's multitasking, kind of. Where are you guys at for getting to Diamond? Where do you feel like you're struggling with or need help in for a lot of you guys? I don't know. I'm sure we're all at different places getting to Diamond, but what do you feel like your biggest struggle is to get there?
I personally need one coach on my right. I have 2 coaches.
2 emeralds.
Well, I have 1 emerald on my left, but I need one on my right. The 1 emerald on my left is my husband.
Oh, that's okay.
So it's kind of cheating, but and then on my right, I have a girl who's signing people up like crazy, but I can't get her to respond, whether it's coaches or customers, and so I don't even know. Surely I would get a message saying I was Diamond if they were coaches, right?
It should show in your back office if there's new coaches in your organization, and that would be from her.
Okay. So they're probably just customers. So I just need to get her to teach them to go coach as opposed to customer.
Right.
That's my biggest thing.
And have you started attracting more working coaches?
Yes, I have a lot. So I've learned that those people, they're interested, so they want to know a lot of information, and it is taking them time to really, they want to do it, so they want the information and going into it, knowing what they'd be doing. So I'm working on them. There's probably 3 that I know would be amazing at it and are really excited about the actual coaching, not necessarily just, doing a challenge pack. So I'm just kind of taking it a day at a time. Yes, that's what I've focused on, which I haven't signed any in the last couple weeks for that reason, because I'm focusing on those few prospects.
And you want to make sure you're still inviting new people too.
Yes.
Put all your
Yes.
eggs.
Oh, no, I am. Those are more like my follow-ups every day.
Your ones that are like on the fence.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So that's definitely where I struggle, and I know what I need to do is just keeping my flow of invites going, because I notice if I miss one day, it messes up that flow.
And I think it helps when you have like a running list. I know I
haven't found a way to organize it yet that I like. Any advice?
What I do.
I keep on switching it, and then it's all over the place.
Have you seen that thing, like just having like a notebook and just writing down people? Like you could do, I know Anne like has her, like you could do this too, like printing out your whole Facebook list and going through it and maybe making a list of all the people who you eventually want to invite to coaching and just have a running list of people. And then every day.
I should figure out today how to do that, because I tried.
I know, I need to
list,
too.
and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I got to the email and it told me it sent it to me, and then I couldn't find it, and I'm like, where is it?
I haven't ever done it before, so I couldn't help you.
I think that would be a really good idea, because writing the names down I was doing until I had my baby, but now with breastfeeding, I'm always breastfeeding.
Right.
And so that's like, I stopped writing things down, and then it messed me up.
Right. But that might help that way when you get in, and this is for anybody, like when you get into doing your invites, if you just have a running list, you can just go like, okay, 3 people invite, and like go through that list instead of like not knowing who to invite and then not doing it because you don't know who to invite.
Yeah.
So,
I feel
Lauren,
like I'm
what do you
searching
do?
my messages sometimes and like just looking.
What do I do?
What do you do on your notebook? Like how often do you make a list and
Every month.
okay.
So like I have, I just started a reconnects list.
So do you carry people over then from the last month?
Yeah, I will.
Rewrite their name down again? Like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. I will. Yep. So I just have like a running list of people who like I've either invited to, I have a different one. I have one for coaching and then one for challenge group. So I'll just write their name down if I've invited them to like a sneak peek or invited them to coaching. Or if like I'm talking to them and I know like they'd be a really good coach, but it's like way too new in the relationship or I don't feel like I need to invite them yet, I'll write their name down so I can follow up with them. That way I always know who I need to keep like in front of me every month to like reconnect with if I haven't heard from them in a while or like their stuff and stuff like that. So
Okay. I mean, I'm keeping track of a handful right now, but I know that won't work in the long run
right.
because I mean, I'm only 6 months in right now.
That's the other thing is what Ann says is the people who like your posts and stuff too. So like when you make a post, and this is what I'm going to start doing. I haven't done it yet, but when you make a post, write down everybody that's liked it. I'd never done that before.
Like it too.
Yeah. So
Especially if they comment, they're going to get a message if they comment on my stuff.
yes.
And if it has something to do with coaching or working out, then I would for sure do that. So that's why we almost need to always be like sprinkling in what we're doing all the time. Did Joelle, whoever went to Platinum Edge I know Joelle posted this about it, but our Facebook should be like a
Journal.
A journal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Story of
I
us.
love that too.
I
I
have
don't do it
the
enough.
slides from that talk. Do you want me to
Oh.
post them in the group?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, because I loved how she had written it out, but I was like, oh, that's such a good way. Because we always say like it should be like a sneak peek of our life, but it should be like a journal, the good, the bad, the
I think
ugly.
Wasn't that kind of Chelsea too?
Like,
Oh, sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
I went to see the baby.
I was just gonna say that I think Chelsea Pearson was one that really emphasized that, and I oftentimes when I forget that, go onto her page and kind of see what she's, posting and how she's, doing. Obviously, we all have a different story, but I'm just saying, like, what is she doing to journal as opposed to just post?
Right. I know. I always like to check out Bonnie Engel because she is really good at like doing sneak peeks all the time. And like something that I've learned from her is when somebody gives you an objection or when somebody gives you like an objection, let's say, use that as a post publicly. publicly. Obviously, don't say like, this person said that they don't want to be a coach, but like you can say, somebody just told me that X, Y, and Z, and then you can like publicly talk about how you would answer the objection, if that makes sense. So like I did one the other day about somebody had told me, I had a couple people tell me that they don't think they could be coaches because they work out in the gym. So I made a post talking.
I remember seeing that.
Right. So I was like talking about the objection, but not just to them, but to everybody. If that makes sense. So that could always be something you do if you feel like you're getting a lot of the same objection, like talk about it publicly and do like she always does cute selfies. So you could do like a selfie with it because that always gets a lot of attraction.
Oh, spit up.
Oh, nice.
I do not miss that.
Me neither.
I got the best picture one time. I was taking a
Lauren,
picture
are you
of her, and
ready
I
for
got,
that?
like,
Are you ready
spit
for the baby spit up?
She's like, yes, puke all over me.
I'm fine with that.
This one's really good at it.
Can you
Breast
tell
milk all over. Congratulations, by the way, Lauren.
Oh, thanks.
So awesome.
We're excited.
I even was announcing it to my husband, and
Can't
he's
wait to see
like,
the other
"Oh."
pictures.
Do you feel pregnant and stuff already? I mean, like, you feeling good, tired?
I'm way better this week than I have been the
Yeah,
last.
do you feel like you got hit by a train yet?
Yeah, the first 2 months I was like dying. I was sick like all day, every day, throwing up, nauseous, tired, not working out. It was horrible. Horrible.
It's always a good sign that it's stuck in there, though.
I know. And then now that I'm feeling good, I was telling the doctor yesterday, I was like, I want to make sure there's still a baby in there because now that I feel good, I'm like, am I even pregnant still?
Totally normal.
I know, right?
Totally normal.
Baby was still in there, so that was good. So yeah.
You got one of these in there.
Hi, sweet girl.
One of you. She's got one of you.
Hopefully it's more. Any other questions you guys have? We have about 6 minutes left. Oh, something.
I think that was really helpful for me personally.
Okay. Next week, I know me and Vicky were talking about doing a Zoom at the beginning of the week and then one at the end of the week. So like, we haven't really talked about what times, but I know like Thursdays at this time always works for me. Well, anytime really during the week, but me and Vicky will figure out times and then we'll post it. That way you guys have 2 different times. If you really want, you can get on both of them because I'm sure they're not going to all be exactly the same. But we'll record them too. So that's something we'll do. Anything else you can think of, Vicky?
I was say it was different than yesterday.
Right. Yeah. Way different than yesterday. Ashley's getting pampered over there. Anything
I'm
else?
excited for this group.
Me too.
We won't make you guys get out of bed and hop on a Zoom.
I'll be up anyways.
They do.
I can't believe
I just ignore my kids and like, hey, I'm just kidding.
I can't believe how many
Ignore
are at that time.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw that.
That was a huge group yesterday.
I was very surprised. For 10.
Okay, can I say I'm gonna have like I'm gonna admit a bad mom moment. Okay, so I dropped my kid off like 15 minutes before like they're even supposed to be at school, right? He's 8, right? So I'm like, so I could be on the call and I'm like, here honey, just stand right